That is right. The man himself is back. Before I cover any of that, though, this video may go over like a fart in church because of the gameplay I'm using, but I'm using NES Double Dragon gameplay off of original hardware. This is not emulated. This is from an NES hooked up to a VCR, which acts as a splitter that goes into a 1080p upscaler, which then goes into an Elgato capture card, which I then capture on my PC. I don't know why I'm doing it like that, but I am. But if you like this sort of thing and you want to see more, you think it's neat, let me know. I'm just doing this before I get into Arc Raiders officially. I did pick that up, but I digress. Let me just show you this real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes. This is how a video game should open. Coincidentally, this is how they get the breast milk from the female employees at Activision Blizzard. Just punch them right in the ovary. Take it. Anyway. Yeah, no long text boxes. None of that mess. Just a gang comes up, punches your broad, and takes her off. And you have to go save her. It's a tale as old as time. I mean, I've had that happen at least a baker's dozen times in my life. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right on into the meat and potatoes here and cover the breaking news because I got a lot I want to get off my chest. So, Bobby Kotick has broken his silence. The man responsible for the disgusting monetization practices that we see all over Activision Blizzard's titles still today, specifically Call of Duty. And I'm not just talking about the yearly releases. Those are bad enough. But when we bought that $2 bacon camo back in Black Ops 2, the bad ideas that floated around in this man's mind were just horrific. But he has broken his silence, and not only that, it sounds like he's going to go to war with Call of Duty and Activision Blizzard, and I'm not even joking with that. Feast your eyes on this, guys. This is from GameFile. As of yesterday, former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick says lawsuit opposing Microsoft Activision deal was secretly meant to help the Embracer Group, and Embracer, while humbled, denies involvement. In a grievance-filled legal filing, Kotick also vows to shine a light on the gross misconduct of the activists who invented the false narrative of misconduct at Activision. He's pulling an exhibit. He's putting misconduct into your misconduct and then sticking it in your steering wheel so you crash and burn instead of watching the road. And this is a pretty long article, but just to give you an appetizer here, like just a snippet of what I'm going to cover, let me just read this part, okay? The AP7 fund has sought to make their suit a class action, claim additional payments for shareholders, and to even invalidate the deal. The deal being Activision Blizzard's sale to Microsoft. It names Microsoft, Activision Blizzard, and the company's former board of directors, including Kotick, as defendants. The Microsoft deal could just cease to exist and Call of Duty go back to being Activision Blizzard owned only, which is just, it sounds like the biggest headache ever. But there is so much in this article I want to cover, and I'll be going over all of it and more after a brief word from this video sponsor. If, like me, you guys like watching live streams, then you are absolutely going to love this. 1v1me is a competitive gaming app where you can stake on pro matches and pro players in a variety of games. It's really simple how it all works. Fancy and Boogs here. I'm going to pick Boogs, and you can see his multiplier there. And then I just place my stake, and then if he wins, I get money. There's also anti-fraud measures, so no cheating here. COD matches run every night at 10 p.m. EST. Over $100 million has been paid out to users on the platform, and every match is refed and streamed with instant payouts after the game. To put it simply, pick the better pro gamer, stake on them, win cash. So if you guys want to get in on this, go to 1v1.me/blame and use code BLAME when you sign up. That will get you a $25 no sweat offer, meaning if your first stake loses, you will get your money back up to $25. Hit up the link in the video description and have fun. All right, guys, welcome back to the video. Let's get to this article. A long-running lawsuit objecting to Microsoft's $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard has received an extraordinary reply from former Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick and swift pushback against one of its most volatile claims. The ongoing lawsuit, filed by Swedish pension fund Sjunde AP-fonden, I might be saying that wrong, sorry to any Swedish viewers out there, also known as AP7 in Delaware's Court of Chancery in late 2022, alleges that Kotick rushed the sale of Activision Blizzard in late 2021 to avoid the consequences of sexual misconduct and scandal swirling around the company. And then it goes on to talk about, like I covered before, how the deal could just be invalidated entirely. I don't know the legal proceedings or the legal mumbo jumbo here, but it sounds like the entire thing would just be redone. Like, it would be like a time machine. We go back in time and the deal would never happen and Microsoft would not own Activision Blizzard and all its IPs anymore. At least that's what I am gathering. Again, sounds like a major headache, but it actually gets juicier. In a newly disclosed court filing that was submitted by Kotick and his lawyers in December and published for public consumption yesterday, the veteran gaming CEO denied AP7's claims via an official answer to the suit. In that answer, Kotick doesn't just deny the allegations and offer a defense of his run overseeing the makers of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush. He also attempts to assign blame for those workplace scandals, the bad press, and even for the AP7 lawsuit. Behind this specific litigation, he suggests, is another powerful games industry player, the Embracer Group, makers of Tomb Raider, Dead Island, rights holders to Lord of the Rings. He describes Embracer as a potential secret collaborator on the suit, or at least to him, a conspicuous potential beneficiary. Bobby Kotick is starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist. He sounds like me during Modern Warfare 3 trying to figure out if there were AI bots in multiplayer. Anyway, let's take a break from all this legal mumbo jumbo, and I want you to just listen to this from Double Dragon, okay? Did the devs making the music for this game back in 1988 have to go so fucking hard? Every time I play this game, and I've been playing it for like 30 years, when I hear that guitar solo, I guess it's more like an 8-bit, MIDI solo, but when I hear that solo, I don't know, I get so pumped and I want to keep playing the game. It's a lost art. So while I proposition these two women on the street here for their breast milk, I just want to cover some more Double Dragon stuff real quick. If you guys have never played this game, like you can see down in the lower left corner there, those hearts are not my life. My life is above that. The hearts represent experience, and each time I get my hearts up to the next level, I unlock a new move. Technically speaking, this is the first mixed martial arts game. Like, you'll start unlocking roundhouse kicks, jump kicks, you'll start unlocking full mounted punches for an enemy on the ground. You will unlock a back elbow that is like being possessed by the spirit of Macho Man Randy Savage. It is that strong. You start hitting this back elbow on people in this game, they just die. They wilt. Anyway, George Foreman here is kind of kicking my ass. He's got some great grills, but I don't really want any. I actually have 3, and they just do not break. So great product, George. But I'm going to have to knock you down this conveyor belt so Amazon can fulfill its Prime 2-day shipping guarantee. Back to work, George. Get those grills out to UPS pronto. Anyway, back to the legal mumbo jumbo here. Okay, so let's finish off this article. Kotick and his legal team wrote this direct quote. This Delaware lawsuit was apparently aimed to help pave the way for Embracer to increase its foothold in the California market at the expense of Activision, making it more difficult for Activision to recruit talent and expand through M&A activity and the sort that Activision relied on to grow historically. Embracer has colorfully denied any such claims, telling GameFile in part that, perhaps difficult to accept for Mr. Kotick, but we did not and do not need any help from a Swedish pension fund in competing with Activision. You know, he's got a point. You just kind of look at this picture and it's like, well, I don't think they had anything to do with the whole sexual misconduct allegations. I think it just actually happened. I think it actually happened there. But, you know, picture says 1,000 words, they say. Anyway. Charlie Intel has some more quips from Bobby Kotick, and he all but roasts Call of Duty under the direction of Microsoft. Check this out. Former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick claims in a legal filing, this is actually terrifying, that Call of Duty sales in 2025 were 60% lower compared to 2024. According to how this is worded, this is on every single platform. Call of Duty sold 60% less than the year prior. COD is on track to perform over 60% below last year because of the intense competition from titles like Battlefield, destroying the FTC's now defeated argument about the lack of competition in the first-person action game category. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that whether Battlefield 6 came out or not, the game fucking sucks. And I think the numbers would have been similar. I really do. Whether Battlefield came out or not, I think COD would have sold like shit this year, like it sold like shit during Modern Warfare 3's release. Modern Warfare 3 was actually a decent game, better than Black Ops 7, I think. But it's just that stupid DLC lazy bullshit that they should just not release a game that year, but they cannot help themselves. So that argument from Mr. Kotick there kind of has a lot of holes in it, honestly. I mean, modern day Call of Duty, specifically Black Ops 7, is so fucking bad. I would rather wrestle a 2-on-1 handicap match in WWE against Brock Lesnar and a live gorilla than play Black Ops 7. I would rather watch Big Bang Theory 24 hours straight with the laugh track removed than play Black Ops 7. I would rather look for a needle in a haystack, naked, not knowing that hundreds of angry, rabid crabs have taken residence in said haystack, than play Black Ops 7. The game fucking sucks. And you know what? Honestly, I gotta commend Bobby Kotick a little bit. He sold Microsoft a dead, tired piece of shit series. They got people to buy it with Black Ops 6, and then it's been all downhill ever since. Everyone is sick of it. I don't foresee anything getting better with Modern Warfare 4. In fact, I have some Infinity Ward news to kind of close this whole thing out here. Guys, I keep saying this, and I keep trying to warn people. But it doesn't really matter what happens this year for Call of Duty. They could literally, I don't know, man, send a bunch of hookers to people's houses and offer free blowjobs to everyone who buys the next Call of Duty title. It's up against GTA 6. Unless someone sabotages the release of GTA 6 and it does not come out this year, they are absolutely fucked. Like, nothing they can do will save the release this year. Just to show you the development team behind this Call of Duty, by the way. Like, it doesn't matter what they do, but this is the development team behind Modern Warfare 4 here. Take a look at this. So Ghost of Hope, prominent leaker in the community, actually covered some tweets from a few years ago from Ralph's Valve, another leaker in the COD community. And when he kind of re-earthed these, so to speak, it was shocking. It just validated what I already knew, that this fucking game is doomed. Modern Warfare 4, I mean. This might be legitimately the demise of the entire franchise. So Ralph's Valve said back in 2022, former Infinity Ward employee comments on perspective of Call of Duty 2022 and gripes against management. It should be a big year for IW, but after this next title, I don't see COD doing well in general. And man, outside of Black Ops 6's fooling of people for their launch, they were fucking right. I love the team at IW, but I do hate how they manage people. They like to use and abuse people. Lots of talented individuals a part of the team, and some departments will be breaking up after this game. So keep that in mind. It should be a big year for IW, but after this next title, I don't see COD doing well in general. Crunch pay and the work environment needs some scrutiny. Always pulling long hours just to make the deadline for those who oversee us. I imagine a lot of the people there right now are hoping for the recent acquisition to shake things up. That's the curveball. Oh my God. If they only knew that recent acquisition just made things worse. Here's another old Ralph's Valve tweet where he says, IW Associate describes Modern Warfare 2's gameplay as most similar to Modern Warfare 2019, inclusion of several new and already existing features, vaguely stating, there's just more it. He went on to state, I was not too happy with the gameplay. It looks incredible, however. We're going to see that same leak come out from Modern Warfare 4. It's just more of the same stupid fucking Infinity Ward bullshit that started this entire mess in the first place. People like to look at Modern Warfare 2019 with rose-tinted glasses. The game fucking sucked. If it wasn't for that game sucking so much metric ass, I wouldn't have even came back to YouTube. What a colossal piece of shit. This tweet says it all. The game that supposedly saved the COD franchise. 95% of its franchise-wide innovations have been reverted/removed because they fucking sucked. Look, I'm not going to deny that Infinity Ward's really good at graphical stuff and the way the guns feel and animations and the whole, like, the sizzle, right? It's great sizzle. But I am paying for a fucking steak here. I'm not paying for the sizzle of the steak. I'm paying for the steak to eat. The steak might be nice to look at. It might sound good. It may be aesthetically pleasing. But if that steak is just dog shit shaped like a T-bone, it doesn't matter how it looks. And that's been my argument ever since the game came out. Can we please get someone to just police Infinity Ward? Can we have Infinity Ward make like the visuals and you know, hone the engine and really dial that in and the animations and all that stuff, but then have like Sledgehammer or something work on the actual balance of the multiplayer and how the game plays and whatnot. And then can we get Treyarch, or what's left of them, they're Treyarch in name alone now, can we get them just to work on zombies? That's the only thing they can do properly now. And then have Raven work on shitty fucking Warzone. And then bam, you're done. Stop releasing games every year. Have one Call of Duty title that you get all three development studios to work on, and then have Raven work on Warzone, of course, and then just keep updating that. Make it a live service platform. You have constant zombies, constant multiplayer. Maybe each year have Raven work on a campaign or something, or Infinity Ward do that as well as a DLC. Whatever you want to do, this yearly release bullshit has to stop. Like, does it take them completely bombing with their biggest IP in Modern Warfare to really get change here? You'd think that Black Ops, a Black Ops title, selling the worst out of any Call of Duty game ever, from what I hear, would be enough of a wake-up call. But it just isn't. These people are fucking brain dead. One last thing here from Bobby Kotick. So he claims that Activision, Call of Duty, and consoles are doing so poorly, it proves he was right to sell Activision Blizzard to Microsoft for $69 billion. And if we check out the IGN article here, there is data to back up Kotick's claims about consoles. November 2025 was a shockingly terrible month for video game sales in the US. Indeed, it was the worst November in video game hardware unit sales and the worst in physical software dollar sales the US has seen since 1995. More specifically, hardware spending was down a whopping 27% year over year to $695 million, the lowest hardware spending total for November since 2005's $455 million. Even worse, unit sales reached 1.6 million, which is the lowest November total since 1995's 1.4 million. And that's representative of declines across the board. Xbox Series hardware sales are down 70% year over year. PS5 sales were down over 40%, and combined unit sales of Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 were down over 10% from Switch sales last year, despite this being a launch year for the Nintendo Switch 2. It feels like gaming's dying, and these companies with their greed and the AI bullshit causing RAM prices to skyrocket and all this other stuff is just accelerating it. This is why I'm bringing you Double Dragon gameplay here in the big 2026. It remains to be seen what will happen to Call of Duty and Activision's other IPs under Microsoft with this lawsuit. Who knows if Kotick can prove some sort of like behind the scenes fuckery going on. I mean, he could flat out, I guess, I don't know what he could do. He could end Call of Duty if he wants. I mean, it's not out of the question, I don't think. But regardless, I think Call of Duty's doing a great job of just ending itself. And the fact that he's kind of roasting it now is really funny. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.